We've talked about idiosyncratic risk and systematic risk, and we've talked about even how to measure idiosyncratic risk. This video focuses on measuring systematic risk, in other words, the big picture macroeconomic risk that an investor faces. That's going to be measured very differently than idiosyncratic risk. Stick around. What do the following all have in common? The Great Depression in the late 1920s and early 1930s, the oil crisis of 1973 and 74, the dot-com bubble burst of 1999 and 2000, the financial crisis of 2008. They were all systematic events that hurt nearly every company at the same time. For one reason or another, these events all resulted in dramatic pullbacks by the stock market, massive layoffs, government intervention, and very few companies escaped unscathed. This is the nature of systematic risk. It is macro risk that simply cannot be avoided if you want to take part in the economy. Sure, there are some ways the CEO can minimize their company's exposure to this type of risk. For example, they can carry excess cash on hand or keep their fixed costs to a minimum or finance their operations with as little debt as possible. But you can never really manage to completely avoid systematic risk unless you are willing to put all of your investments into the risk-free treasury bills. This is why the market compensates investors for bearing systematic risk when it doesn't compensate investors for bearing idiosyncratic risk. However, eliminating systematic risk really shouldn't be your primary objective. As the old saying goes, nothing ventured, nothing gained. You need to take risk at some level. Granted, the risks should be calculated, managed, and planned so as to provide you with the best possible returns for having taken the risk, but you're going to need to take some risk if you want to earn reasonable returns.